everybody. Hey, let me take off my headphones. There we are. That's better. Hey, welcome to our 85th live chat. Can you believe it? 85? It's amazing. Well, today is the 11th of November, 2018. And who knows why this is a really important day. Come on, raise your hands, everybody. Especially you Londoners. Nice to see you, Maggie May. Keep up, yes. Nicholas Rubio, hey, nice to see you. Thanks for all your positive comments. Rasmus A, how is it doing in Estonia? Okay, you guys in Europe, why is today so important? I'll tell you why. It's the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. And by the way, how's the sound going today? It was really difficult before, but I think I've got it fixed up. Yes, please take me out of my depression. Well, there's lots of things you can do, as I describe in my list, which I don't have here. Netherlands, okay, another European. So going through tough times right now, Leanne? Yeah, well, join the club. It's a really dark time of year. We had a friend of mine's father committed suicide. We had someone else had, a really tough time. It's challenging. Anyway, so Armistice Day, the end of World War I, right? November 11th, 1918, November 11th, 2018. Now, I read a very interesting article in the New York Times that said that Europe is getting more nationalistic and more fractionalized, and these were the exact conditions that led to World War I. So you're Europeans. Are you worried about the European Union falling apart? Virtuous Woman. Howdy, Doug. Happy Vet Day. Thank you, Virtuous Woman. I love your name. I forgot your real name. Sylvan, greetings from Arizona. I'm sure it's warmer there, but guess what? It is 57, 58. What's the temperature out, Doug? Go look at your Apple Watch. 51? Okay, well, that's still nice. It's sunny. I'm going to go on a bike ride right after this chat. Paul Fitzgerald, nice to hear you. Hello from Scotland, dark by 4:45. Same here. Arcade Cup from Green Bay. How's the Packers doing? How about that? Marin W. from where? You're now in Ireland now, I think. Buheim. Hey, Virginia. Of course, I remember you. Butterfly. Please, I'm taking medication, not soothing. Oh, you're from India. Well, you got to talk to your psychiatrist about that, or your nurse practitioner, because I am not able to diagnose or treat over the internet. So that's why access good mental health professionals is good. But one thing I do have is 350 videos. Yep, you're in Dublin. Do you remember my joke from last week? Why is Ireland a prosperous country? Because its capital is always Dublin. Isn't that great? You did my real therapy for the next 5 years. I bought a new car. Hey, guess what? I did too, Arcade Cup. A new Kia. I never thought I'd get a Kia. I just bought a new car too. Hey, from London, all you Europeans, Lynn, the UK, Britain. Hey, mates, It's 100th anniversary, the end of World War I. Mixed CONCAP, it's so important. Been peace in Europe for the past 20 years. Yeah, people don't know. People are getting used to it. The people from World War II are dying off. Guys in Europe, you got to keep the peace. Boyfriend is playing Leave Me. Oh, no, 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 no. My drank a bottle of NyQuil. Oh, my God. Yeah. Loss of love is the greatest tribute to depression. So take care of yourself, Leanne. Yeah, it's a great joke. But anyway, take care of yourself. Sorry about your child, but a psychologist can take care. The earlier children get into therapy, the better their prognosis is for later on. Quixotic Nymph. Hey, Douglas, can I send you email for advice? Sure. And my advice will be short because I get too many emails. I do long-distance coaching. Longest depressive episode was 18 months. And for those of you who are interested in contacting me, douglasblock@email.com, gmail.com. And we have a little treat. Anybody who contributes to Super Chat will get a free copy of When Going Through Hell Don't Stop, my first memoir. I think the best thing I've ever done. It's an ebook. I'd be happy to send it to you through the email. Only 56 in Houston. Brenda Key, hi from California. Your quote, if you're going through hell, don't stop, save me. Well, look, donate a couple of bucks and you can get this book that this was based on. So there's a little $ down there. Why am I asking this early in the game? Because I have some things I need to do, some projects. I'm maybe teaching webinars for the Unity Church, and I'm having to cut down on my work here. I can't put as many YouTube videos up, so my income needs some supplementing. So again, there's the live chat $ right there. Rasmus saying, Estonia, Northern Europe in general, there's less light. Lack of vitamin D makes depression worse. Of course, so you need to get a light box, which I have here, but I don't want to mess up my communication. But yes, you need vitamin D and you need a light box during the winter. Butterfly, how you manage your thought during depression? How did I manage it? I had a hard time. I was always negative. I was always catastrophizing. I always thought I was going to die by suicide, but I hung in there. And I watched other people's videos. Leanne, I'm so overwhelmed, crying now because all I do is hurt people. Well, don't take all the responsibility. You know, you can't really make anybody feel anything. It's how they respond to you. But do you have your own therapist? Do you have your own psychiatrist? Are you doing DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy? I have a friend from California who's watching. I hope he can ask a question. You know about DBT, don't you, Leanne? Okay. Well, 56 people watching at 5 minutes and 49 seconds after the hour. Leanne, there is support out there. Maybe you could join a group. Has my moral views and personality changed over time? No, I feel like I'm in my 20s. My views about life and the world and my political views have stayed constant for the last 45 years. Light boxes don't help with vitamin D, right? Yeah, you take it as a supplement. You do both. And you get out in the morning hours. Even when it's gray, early morning exposure to light, even if it's not sunlight, helps with seasonal affective disorder. DBT rocks, it certainly does. Dialectical behavioral therapy. Soon as Estonia, Northern Europe, there will be like 16 hours of darkness, so lack of vitamin is very serious. Hey, I'm in 51 degrees north latitude here, or whatever, it's 45 degrees in Portland, 47 degrees, whatever the heck. It gets dark at 4:30. Yeah, we have 18 hours of darkness. I cannot attend my kids. Well, can someone else do it for you? How do you get to the state where you can only do the bare minimum? Well, when you're really depressed, that's all you can do, and you got to credit yourself for it. So you probably want to go beyond that state, don't you? That state? Can we outplay our mood by saying, I'm happy? I believe very much in affirmations. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better is a really good thought to repeat to yourself, but you also need some more tools than that. Thanks so much for your work. I've been in psychodynamic counseling 4 to 5 years, says Quinifan. Some things improve, but I feel terrible thinking about antidepressants. Any thoughts? Antidepressants can be useful, but take them really slowly at the beginning. I wonder if you asked for the prayer that you mentioned last live stream. Yeah, I responded to it, but I don't remember the prayer I mentioned. Was it the prayer for the dark night of the soul? Any tips to prepare for therapy, says Marvouche. Just be open, be yourself, and trust in the group process. Groups can be really, really helpful. Sarah, hi everyone from Italy. I suffer from depression after months. Thanks to therapist and medication, I finally feel better. It's unbelievable to me. Yes, there is hope. Thank you, Sarah. Tell people you can come out of this. Any quick fixes for late night rumination? I'd say read a book, get up, take a walk, listen to some music. Do anything you can to take your mind off that focus. I pop an Ambien when I can't get back to sleep. That's a really good sleep medication, but of course you need a prescription. I want to be happy, says Butterfly, but my monkey brain is not calming down. Thanks for reading my chat. Yeah, Monkey Brain. There's a really good book called Monkey Mind. I want you to read it by the head of the Atlantic Monthly. Excellent. And there are techniques. Check out mindfulness medication. Hey, Carrie, nice to see you. It didn't work. I'm so impulsive. I'm trapped in this brain. Have you ever thought of going on ADHD medication, Leanne? Have you ever asked your psychiatrist about that? That's good for impulsive people. Thank you for answering my question, Barbush. We'll follow the advice as good as I can. There's 66 people watching. Hi, all you, wherever you are in the world. It's great to be with you on this beautiful sunny day in Portland, Oregon. Mary full of grace. I love it. From the Rosary. And by the way, the super chat button is still there. That's my last name. Do you have any advice for people in their 20s who are lost in the future? Well, don't compare yourself to others. Man, Mary full of grace, that's the first thing you can do. I didn't really come of age until I was 35. My career didn't start until I was 47. So you've got your whole life ahead of you. You're running your own race. Tell yourself, I'm running my own race. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. I'm taking care of me. The fact that I can only do the more bare minimum makes me more depressed thinking about it. It's part of the condition, Marin and W. Be kind to yourself. Look at that video I made called Be Kind to Yourself. You'll feel better. So, again, don't try to compare yourself to some standard. What about staying awake for 48 hours to help relieve extreme depression? Well, there is something called where they make people sleep less, and that seems to help. 48 hours is a long time. You should do this under medical supervision. Is there a difference between depression and disorder, or maybe you mean disorder? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Depression is a disorder. Sarah, for the hope, we give thanks to Sarah because yes, so many people. Look, I've worked with people for 20 years, and virtually everybody I have worked with has gotten better because depression is treated and its time can be treated in its time limit. How do you feel manage feelings of dread for no apparent reason? You tell yourself there is nothing to fear, all shall be well and all shall be well. Give yourself affirmations, do some good cognitive restructuring, and find a good, really, psychologist or therapist who works with anxiety disorder. Okay, so I want to read this to somebody, the prayer for going through the dark night of the soul. I got it, I turned right to it. Carrie Irving, was this the prayer that you're talking about? I accept the fact I'm going through a dark night of the soul. I am dying to the me that is known. I embrace my pain fully and accept my present condition. I understand that on some level my soul needs this experience. I don't think that was the prayer I read, so again, I don't remember. Nicholas Rubio, I feel like some days I'm amazed that some are just horrible. This is something I have to work on. It's been hard to go to work, not sure on advice. You go up and down. When you're going through a depressive recovery, some days are good, some days are very bad. You just have to ride with the waves until things even out. You don't mean the serenity prayer, do you? God, let me accept the serenity, the things I cannot change, the courage of things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Do you know that prayer? I'm on the schizophrenia spectrum, says Buheim, which is annoying, but I honestly think depression is worse than psychosis. Well, yeah, depression can be brutal. Rick James, nice to see you. Hi, Douglas. What's worse, sad depression or anger from depression? I'm an angry person. I wasn't that way before. Well, people with depression, one of the symptoms, especially with bipolar disorder, people can get very irritated and angry. So they're both different and they're both bad, but you know, with treatment, both can go away. Rasmus say, I can't give myself citizenship. Part of me keeps telling me that the only way to freedom for me is not to be alive. No, not true. Viktor Frankl in the concentration camps, read Man's Search for Meaning, everybody. He said, we have the last of the human freedoms is the freedom to choose our attitude in any given situation. You could be in jail, you could be, in a prisoner of war camp, you could be depressed. We still have the ability to choose our attitude. So you may not go back to your country, it may be really painful, but you can choose to find something, I know, redemptive about the situation you're in. Sometimes I overdose on sleeping pills, says Butterfly. Well, you know, obviously not a good idea. I hope you're in mental health treatment. By the way, suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. I'm writing a book on it. Again, here we are. We are 12 minutes after the hour, and nice to see you all. Remember, in Europe, keep the peace. Keep the peace. We don't want another World War I in Europe. Can a person be addicted to depression? They can be addicted to suffering, yes. Rick James, thank you for your videos and live chats. More than happy. You can express your appreciation by contributing today. You know, I feel like I'm a public TV show. We're dependent upon viewers like you to keep us going. I mean, this is a labor of love. By the way, we have about 1.8 million views. We just hit the 23,000 subscriber mark. When I get to 2 million views, we'll have to have a big party. How can I help someone when really down? Be empathetic. I have a chart in my book that says best things you can say to someone who's depressed. I'm sorry you're feeling that way. I'll be here for you. I know it must be painful. Don't give advice, validate, and encourage them to go into mental health treatment, find a psychologist or a therapist. Yes, as long as I breathe, there's opportunity to heal. Thank you, Sylvan. Stephen in Petaluma. What's the best thing to do when your depression interferes with your ability to concentrate on your work? Well, that is a huge issue. I had to take time off. You do the best you can, and if you need to do less work or take time off, that's what you need to do. But obviously, the better you treat depression, the better you feel. I tell you, exercise, man, that really clears my brain. When I go up Rocky Butte, as I'm going right after this live chat, I feel really clear and focused, so maybe intense cardio could help. Also, I find that one of my really depressed clients got Adderall, which is an ADHD medication. But guess what, boys and girls? Psychiatrists in Portland, Oregon are using Adderall to treat depression. It's a ADHD drug like Ritalin. It's a stimulant, but it helps to focus big time. But again, psychiatrist's prescription only if you really need it. But it has been used for depression. I've seen it more than once. Christian Davidson, about to go through a slow benzo taper. Any advice? Yeah, make it slow. Do it under the authority of somebody who's a nurse practitioner or psychiatrist. Drink a lot of water and get acupuncture. Janet Christian Davidson, tell doc you need to go much slower than advised. I agree with you. Slower is better. Clinton, age did not wither them, nor years condemn them. The going down of the sun in the morning, we remember them. Thank you, Quinifan. That great poem about the people who died in World War I. Beautiful, beautiful. You must be from Europe. Whoops. Carrie, I kind of just missed your comment there. What did you just say? You only read one prayer in your last live stream, I think. All right, the one that I just read is amazing. How are you feeling about filling up your bile the other day? Well, the bile in my liver is really good. No, you mean bike. I have chronic hip pain. It hasn't gone away. I haven't been able to sleep. Help! Help! Everybody pray for me. No, I'm in chronic pain, but I'm managing it. But yeah, that was a bad fall. Europe is important to the world, especially to the recovering of the peace from so many wars. Could be a great example of the rest of the world. It has been, Mick. You've had 70 years of peace in Europe. Let's keep it that way. What do you think of CBD oil as a potential mitigator of depression? I've did a whole video. My most popular video right now is CBD oil for anxiety. I've never heard it for depression, but it definitely helps many people for anxiety and insomnia. Check out this video. It's called CBD oil for anxiety, miracle cure or hype. I'll give you the first part of this. CBD oil. As I said today, anybody who makes a donation will get a free ebook of When Going Through Hell Don't Stop. And if you become a patron on Patreon at $10 or more, I will send you a free copy of my book, Healing from Depression, which has been called a lifeline. As far as I can see, this is the best book on depression out there. It's been around for over 20 years, and it gets better with age. Okay. There were times when depression wasn't part of our life. Actually, we had no idea about it. Can science one day succeed in restoring those feelings? Yes, they're trying to do that right now. Antidepressants, transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, ECT, there are all these treatments out there to help people restore, and prayer, by the way. So they're doing their best. We're not there yet, but we're doing our best. Janice, I met you 2 years ago. Wow, I have severe reaction to SSRI, so do I. Currently on Buspar and Wellbutrin, so am I. Are there any alternatives to SSRIs? Doctor wants me to put you on Lexapro. Well, when I took Lexapro, that's what put me in my 2015 major depression. If you are sensitive to SSRIs, you better talk to your doctor, because you could easily have another reaction. It happened to me twice, Effexor and Lexapro. So, Wellbutrin doesn't seem to have that impact. So, tell your doctor your previous experience, and maybe he can find something else. God, there's something called Trintalex. There's all sorts of really good alternatives right now. Preem 103, have you heard of True Hope products? I have, but I haven't looked into them. Random person, you were here before. CBD oil did not have an effect on me. Maybe larger doses required, perhaps. It's very benign. Jay Rose, nice to see you again. Hello, everybody. Thanks for the video suggestion. Yeah, to break addiction or to suffering, does one do the 12 steps? 12 steps are helpful for many things. I would say to break addiction to suffering, go back to your family of origin and do some psychotherapy to find out what the trauma was that helps you continue the suffering. Traveling helps moods? Yeah. It's always fun to go on a vacation. Takes you out of your daily routines. Haley, sending you all my best wishes. I've been reading your book, Douglas. It arrived last week. I love it. Are you talking about this book? Talking about healing from depression? Haley, if so, plug this book. It's a really important book. It's blood, sweat, and tears. I wrote this book in the trenches. Yeah, I'm going to try to get some pain relief. I might get a new bed. What is your position on severe chronic pain caused by trauma? Wow. You got to get to the root of the trauma. There's a book. I'm glad you're liking Healing for Depression. So I want you to read this book. All about trauma. The body knows the score. Wow, I can't believe we're only 19 minutes into this, so I've been talking very fast. You said you can't change your environment by changing your environment? Yes, you can. You can change your biology. Look, when you fall in love, your biology changes. That's changing your environment. I'm not quite sure what VACA is, Iman, but yes. Look, I have this chart on my book. I'm going to have the color chart here next time. I have to remember to have the color chart. So, This is in color. See all these activities here? Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and lifestyle habits. Every one of these things on this page can help you change your mood. They're all lifestyle habits. They're environmental steps, and they all have effect on your biology. Haley, I plan to buy more copies of the book for friends that may find it helpful. Thank you. What part of America do you live in? Yeah, no, vacations, you know, when people are on vacations, they feel relaxed. Of course it will change your biology, but then you'll come back to your regular routine. Unless you change that, the depression might come back. Blackcurrant pop, traveling does improve moods, if even a little. Yes, it's important. I went to the coast 2 weeks ago. It was fantastic. And An Unspoken Voice by Peter Levine. PhD is a good one too. Thank you, Sylvan. Peter Levine did a book called Waking the Tiger on trauma. Peter, make sure you contact, Sylvan, make sure you contact that other person who talked about trauma and chronic pain. Really, Peter Levine is a tremendous resource. So, you know, there's too many cold showers, all seasons help relieve symptoms. Yeah, cold is very good for anxiety. So Jen, listen to what the suggestion was, An Unspoken Voice by Peter Levine. I'm going to write that down because Peter Levine is an expert on trauma therapy. So I can't type. An Unspoken Voice by Peter Levine. Okay, is that a video? It must be, or is that a book? Let us know, the person who recommended it. Okay. Any suggestions for agoraphobia? That's a tough one. Wow. Wow. The body keeps the score. Yes. Thank you. It's either the body keeps the score, or body knows the score. But yes, Bessel van der Kolk is the author. Van der Kolk. Agoraphobia, yeah, it's you just have to do you know, what's it called? Exposure therapy. Walk out to your mailbox one day, then walk across the street the next day, then go to a different nearby store. You have to do it very closely, but it's an anxiety disorder, and I would see a really good anxiety therapist. Yeah, Jen, it's a good book. The Body Keeps the Score and Waking the Tiger. They're the best books. What's your opinion on EMDR? Well, EMDR has been around for quite some time. It means eye movement desensitization reprocessing. It has been used for trauma and letting go of past trauma, and it has got a lot of scientific validation. So I've known people who have benefited from it. Like everything else, one size does not fit all. Oil, yes, oil, that's very good. Olive oil. Hey, oh my God. Oh, do I still have this? I have this thing called neologisms. You know what that is? You take an old word and you give it a new meaning. Let me see, old word. So yes, Stephen, EMDR is very, very good. I couldn't agree with you more. Did I put this in here? God, I'll have to remember it. God, you got to be more. You got to be more. Oh, here, I might have found it. Yes. You've heard the word flabbergasted. Here's a new meaning. Appalled over how much weight you've gained. Flabbergasted. How about this? Gargoyle, gross olive-flavored mouthwash. And finally, my favorite is flatulence. Flatulence is an emergency vehicle that picks you up after you've been run over by a steamroller. Now that is very clever, from the Christian Science Monitor. Jen says, about with the EMDR, you have to make sure that the therapist was trained fully. Some just take a course. You're right. Excellent, Jen. Good point. Is it okay to start dating when you're depressed? Well, yeah, but, you know, just let people know, you know, be honest with the person you're dating. I mean, I dated when I was depressed in '83, but the person knew about it and was a social worker, so she was good at dealing with that. What are your thoughts on microdosing with mushrooms? Oh my God, there's so many people doing that right now. Yeah, many studies have been done on it. I have many clients who do that. All I can tell is say that it's under investigation. You know, you run the risk if it's too large dose, you could go into some sort of altered state that's not really helpful. But I research it. Yes, it's been done by many people. It's coming into its own, not yet quite approved by the FDA. How do you function with depression? One step at a time. Do what you can do. Not every problem is temporary, and to be blunt, I don't appreciate it all whenever someone generalizes all problems is temporary. Well, okay, I mean, life is temporary, therefore all problems are temporary, but I understand what you mean. There's things you have to live with your whole life. like if you have a limb amputated, right? Or if you have, some accident you never fully got over. So you're right, but the question is, what do we do about it? We have to do what Viktor Frankl said, and choose our attitude. That's the last of the human freedom. So we have to, whatever circumstances we're in, we can't always control the circumstances. You're right, but we can always control our response to them, and that's where the freedom comes. Any correlation between low eye pressure and depression? You mean blood pressure? I've never heard of low eye pressure. By the way, why did the Scarecrow become a successful neurosurgeon? Well, he was outstanding in his field. Speaking of which, I have a new video out tomorrow called Happy Gut, Happy Brain. It's all about how to improve your gut health, because there's more serotonin in your gut than your brain, and how that affects your brain health. So stay tuned tomorrow morning, November 12th at 7 a.m. Pacific time. We'll be uploading a new video on how to eat well to improve your mental health. And there's a joke in there about a squirrel comes into a doctor's office and says, have you ever heard of the term, you are what you eat? The psychiatrist says, yes, I believe it's true. The squirrel says, well, in that case, I think I'm nuts. Come on, someone laugh at that. All right, Black Currant Pop, do you think most people have suffered from depression at some point? Yes, mild depression for sure. Hello from Lithuania. What was the starting joke today? I just essentially told it, I told it was, why is Ireland a prosperous country? Because its capital is always Dublin. That was the first joke. How do you motivate yourself to go to work and look for a new job when you're depressed? It's hard. It's very hard. It's almost impossible. I'm afraid coworkers will notice I'm depressed. They'll get fired. Well, one, they don't. It's hard for people to know what you're going through. And two, in America, many bosses in the human resources department understand depression and are quite, sympathetic and tolerant. I don't know where you live, but I know many of my clients are working with depression, with anxiety, and their bosses know about it, and it's okay. So hang in there. Whoops, sorry to move that. I'm just trying to, I have my bad hip. I have to reposition myself or it gets too painful. Be honest, Douglas, you are dating, hold on. Be honest, Douglas. Jen says, some things are permanent, but our attitude view can change about it. That's the key to living with stressful things, changing our viewpoint. Yep, that's exactly what Viktor Frankl said in the concentration camps. Be honest with the person you're dating is great advice. Of course, they have to love you and accept you for who you are. There are many people, look, depression, 1 in 8 people, man. In 2020, which is 2 years from now, it'll be the #1 cause of disability in the world, hundreds of millions of people. So, you're not alone. You think you are, but man, it's much more prevalent than you think it is. So of course people will understand. My father said, Doug, if you want to be happy and successful, 2 words, be yourself. So if you're depressed, let people know. Nicholas, I take it you don't have depression at the moment, Doug? I have chronic pain, but no, not depression like I've had. I don't. Just found out I have gut dysbiosis. I hope the probiotics help. They will. There's also what are called fecal transplants. I know that sounds really, really, really gross, but they're quite effective to get someone else's probiotics into your gut. A squirrel, I guess you like the joke. Jaron Custwinder, I think we've met you before. Good morning, Mr. Block. I was wondering if you are in depression or also extra tired. I also got labeled PTSD. When you are in depression, you're tired. Oh yes, one of the 9 symptoms of depression is fatigue. Yes. Depressed people are tired. Susan Jones, one of my favorites, says, how does one find a good therapist? I've had a lot of ineffective ones. Yes. So you want to go to this site. It's gold. It's called Psychology Today, which is an American magazine. And then you type in Psychology Today, find a therapist, and then type in your zip code. And you'll see all these people listing what specialties they have, what insurance they take, and they're all really, really good. The Psychology Today screens these people. I'm listed there, so they must have screened me. Coke, see, I'm struggling with massive with anxiety and 50-50 depression. Well, guess what? Join the club. It's hell, isn't it? The video Healthy Gut, Healthy Brain is coming out tomorrow, Monday, the 12th at 7 a.m. By the way, the person who asked me about the therapist, Yeah, go to Psychology They Find a Therapy. That's really, really key. Susan Jones. J. Rose, finding much help with depression, PTSD, etc. with self-compassion. Oh yes, that's a great Kristen Neff. That's an amazing book. I did do a book on self-compassion, a whole thing on self-compassion. And I quoted from her book. I actually showed it to the people in the video. It's called Be Kind to Yourself. So check that out afterwards. That's my video. Yeah, it's all about self-compassion, which is key, especially when people are depressed. So I'm glad you found that good information. Connor, coming up on 1 year anniversary of my first nervous breakdown. It's slowly getting better, but as I approach the anniversary, I can't help but get nervous. Oh yeah, September 7th, 1998 was my anniversary of my breakdown, and I was really nervous, and it passed and all was fine. Hey, we've been on here for a half an hour, and I haven't gotten any donations yet. Man, we need David Holden on here. I mean, every time he comes, he gives me a donation, and he kind of gets the wheel going. Maybe I should donate to myself. I wonder how I can do that. Probably if I did that, I'd go offline, so that would not be a good idea. Rasmus, choosing attitude doesn't mean always accepting. Who says that one has to accept? Okay. No, you don't have to accept, absolutely. But if you, look, remember AA, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. If you can't change it, you have to accept it. You may not like it, but you can accept and say, this is where I am right now. Now what can I do to live a better life? Acceptance does not mean approval. Let me say that again. Acceptance does not mean approval. Nicholas Rubio, I found out not to drink caffeine and alcohol on the same day. Don't do it. Well, alcohol and caffeine, as well as sugar, will make you feel worse. Of course, they're antagonists to each other, aren't they? Linda Stokes from the Great Britain. Hey, I'm finally come out of my last depressive episode. I'm going to go in and out of depression with no rhyme or reason. Well, it's your neurotransmitters that are, it's the circuits in your brain, not your neurotransmitters. That's what's really going on. The brain circuitry. There's a really good book called The Upward Spiral I want you to read. How do you give a donation, Jen? You click on that little dollar sign and it'll come up and it'll ask how much you want to give. It's really simple. If you see it, if you're on a laptop or a computer, you should be able to see it. Otherwise, you can go onto PayPal and you just can send me, douglasblock@gmail.com, or you can go visit www.patreon.com/DouglasBlock and you can become a monthly subscriber. But the easiest way to do it right now is to click on that super chat. Do you see that little dollar sign at the bottom of the screen, Jen? To the Army veteran who posted above with PTSD, lots of luck to you. You might find something helpful and the body keeps a score. Yes, yes, yes. The author worked a lot with vets. Yes, yes. There's so much good work on trauma and veterans. Oh my God, I have a friend in Portland who works with veterans using something called EFT, Emotional Freedom Therapy. Thank you for Blackcurrant Pop. You greased the wheel. You you primed the pump. $2. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, you give every month on Patreon. You're a patron, Linda Stokes. You are a major mensch, as we say in Yiddish. So yeah, Connor, it's coming up a year since my mental health deteriorated and my second psychotic episode. I'm hyper anxious, dreading for December this year. Just tell yourself the past is not the future. Look, thank you, Jen. You found out how to do it. Appreciate your $2. Where are you from, Jen, by the way? America or overseas? The past is not the future, okay? Will you all keep telling yourselves that? Say it over and over and over and over again. The past is not the future. I've had many anniversaries of nervous breakdowns. I'm coming up to my third one from 2015, and just tell yourself you're in a different place. Carol Joy, wish you could donate this week? Well, you can donate. Thank you, Mary Full of Grace. Another $2. Thank you guys so much. Did your depressive episode cause panic attacks? Not panic attacks, but agitation. I was hitting myself in the head and going back and forth. Yeah, it wasn't really panic attacks, it was agitation, but panic attacks, depression causes anxiety, which causes depression. So yes, the two can be what's called comorbid. But anyway, the past is not the future. Please remember that all of you are coming up with anniversaries. And Carol Joy Wolf, if you can't donate this time, you can always send me a donation through PayPal. Getting a PayPal account is really simple. You just go to PayPal account, give them your bank account and a username and password, and you can send money instantly to anybody, in the world. It's really cool. Here it is. paypal.com. And there you have it. That scarecrow joke deserved a donation, Daniel Perkins. Well, here's another scarecrow joke. Maybe I'll get a donation from you or somebody else. Carol Joy Wolf, always next week. You can always do it by PayPal. Okay. They say when you have depression, you have to eat regular meals, 8 hours a day with protein in it, because too much sugar will mess up your mind. So unfortunately, the scarecrow skipped dinner the other night. And I said, why did you do that, Mr. Scarecrow? He said, well, I didn't eat because I was already stuffed. There you have it, the number 2 scarecrow joke. Thank you, Haley, for 10 pounds. Wow, where are you from? Do you have any questions? I will definitely answer them. Holly Davidson, my anniversary is March 13th, hoping you feel better before. Yeah, yes. Depression is time limited and treatable. So does everybody feel empty with your depression and it goes away and comes back? It does go away and come back. However, if you practice this recovery program I teach in the book and you can learn about with other people, when it comes back, your dips will not be as low and will not last as long and will not be as intense. Let me say that again. When it does come back, your dips will be less intense, less deep, and shorter. You do have some control, but if you suffer from chronic depression, especially if it's genetic, it's gonna be around in some form, but you can still have a good life and you can still manage. Susan Jones, I have BPD with psychotic features. I've been assessment for abuse counseling. This started me a few questions related to PTSD syndromes, physical disability. Carrie, you got a lot on your plate. God bless you, but you're a brave person. You know what? You know what Christopher Reeve said, who plays Superman? He said that a hero is not someone who jumps into a burning fire and saves somebody. A hero is someone who continues to fight on in spite of overwhelming obstacles. Now that is everybody on this live chat. You are all heroes. Christopher Reeve, who played Superman, who broke his neck in a fall in a riding accident and went on to become an inspiration to millions of people. Heroes are people who continue persevering in spite of overwhelming odds. So remember that. Give yourself credit. All right. Yeah, cool. You can do it next time, or you can go to PayPal like right after this. How many books have I written? I've written 11. 4 on depression, 3 on affirmations, and 1 on sales, 1 on travel. But guess what? I haven't written a book since 2002, so 2004. So everybody, I'm trying to write a book on suicide prevention, but I have so much going on with my health and keeping up on these YouTube videos. But I am going to take some time off. There are so many people who need help. By the way, survivor of suicide, anybody, have you lost anyone to suicide, either now or in the distant past? On November 17th, this coming Saturday, it's always the third Saturday in November. It's called Survivors of Suicide Day, and you should go to the website of the American Foundation for Suicide Depression. You should go to afsp.org. Find an event near you. It's really inspiring. Yes, someone did leave a $10 donation. You're absolutely right. Lovely. And it was, I don't know, I can't see it, but I know it was somebody recently, Haley A, probably from the UK. Anyway, this coming Saturday, Survivors of Suicide. Whoops, I didn't put suicide, but that's what it should have been. All right. Another joke maybe, huh? Humor is good for depression. By the way, tomorrow, a brand new video on gut health and mental health. Okay. Coffee, the person upon whom one coughs. I've always been really, really amazed at certain people who are fluent in many languages. My mother was fluent in Spanish and English. I know a lot of people who speak 3 or 4 languages, but here's the question of the day. What language does a billboard speak? Huh? Have you ever thought about looking at billboards? What language does a billboard speak? Sign language, for heaven's sakes. Come on, you should have known that. All right. Bonanoshi, I experienced extreme fear, anxiety, chronic depression. 4 years, I was assaulted. Oh my God. Struck that acid, then along came PTSD. Wellbutrin, Lisopro, and Adderall, very good medications. I hope you're going to get some trauma therapy, either EMDR or those wonderful books written by Bessel van der Kolk and also Peter Levine. Thank you for your wisdom, knowledge, and loving words of support. They've really helped. Thank you, Richard. Well, you can always, again, make a small contribution. But anyway, the person who just got assaulted, I feel for you. What a nightmare. But look, you're strong, you're resilient, you're still alive, you're still hanging in there. Human beings are very, very resilient. Today is the birthday of the great Russian novelist Fyodor Dostoevsky. He said, man is unique in his ability to suffer. And he also said, man is the only being who can get used to anything, which is true. What is my opinion on that? I'm not quite sure what you mean, Bon Nanoshi. Maybe you should ask the question again. Can EMDR really help for complicated, or is it called complicated PTSD from childhood? So many events, most not remembered. Yes, EMDR is very powerful, but you have to find the right person. Like someone says, some people took 2 classes. We have a guy named David Manfield in Portland who's been doing it for 20 years. Now that's someone with experience. I used to teach math. That's why I moved to Oregon in '73. But you know what, as a math teacher, you know what my favorite dessert was? Pie. Which reminds me, who invented the round table? I love King Arthur's stories from the old table, you know, from Britain and all that wonderful mythology. But who invented the round table? Circumference. All right, come on, these are good puns. Jen, complex PTSD or developmental trauma disorder. Yes, that's what I thought. Didn't I say complex PTSD? Maybe I said complicated. Yeah, it is called complex PTSD. Doug, do you have a good heart? I hope so. Beat, 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 beat. It's saying a therapist gets paid more than you and you're more helpful. Speaking of which, my wife, Joan, my partner, who saved my life in 1996, who's thin, active, and has low cholesterol and low blood pressure, had a heart attack 10 days ago. I've been really, really devastated. Fortunately, she survived. She's in cardiac rehab, but wow, that tells you that life, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, for good or for bad. So, you know, you guys who are really down, remember, things can turn around like that. So sorry to hear that. Well, the fact is that many, many people have heart attacks or heart events and live many, many years. This was not major, and she's in the really amazing program at Emmanuel Hospital here in Portland. So there's hope for the future. Do you think living in New York City amplifies depression? I love that. That's why I left New York when I was 22. Is it better to live somewhere more laid back, sunny like the beach, but might be boring? That's why I moved to Oregon in 1973. It was boring, but it was more quiet. Yeah, I mean, New York City, you know, anxiety especially, is such a mass of people. It's so intense. Sensitive souls need to live in the country. You're absolutely right. Black currant top. By the way, I'm turning 70. People say I don't look pretty good, but guess what? I'm now a senior citizen, so I should really be careful about driving. So, a senior citizen was driving down the motorway. His car phone rang. His wife said urgently, "Vernon, I just heard that there's a car going the wrong way on I-25. Please be careful. Please be careful. There's a car going the wrong way." You know what Vernon said? "It's not just one car. It's 100 of them." Vernon was the car going the wrong way. All right. Yes, you've been sexually assaulted, Kerry. Wow. I feel like things can get worse, but will never get better. Well, when you're in depression, you can't believe that things will ever get better. That's the problem. But they can. It's your distorted brain telling you that. When I go to New York City, I feel more anonymous in some ways safer, but it's sensory overload. It depends on your temperament. You're absolutely right, Jen. Absolutely. And besides, you go and visit. What if you had to live there? You live in for 70, you have 20 years younger. Great advice. I think I will move. Come to Oregon. When is my birthday, Doug? Well, I'm turning 70 on February 22nd, George Washington's birthday, which they don't celebrate anymore. February 22nd, 1949 is my date of birth for all you astrologers out there. Sorry to hear about your challenge. I wish you the best. Yeah, see, that's what I said. Christopher Lever's right. Heroes are people who persevere in spite of overwhelming obstacles. That's everybody on this live chat, including yours truly. You look 55 tops. Wow. Holly Davidson said, "Is burning, prickly skin like a symptom of anxiety?" It can be. what can be done? Tamp down the anxiety. Also, make sure it's not neurological. You might want to say it could be nerve pain. You want to see a neurologist. I'm not a believer in living as long as I can, says Rasmus, but at least till I've got some hope left, rather stay and help those who suffer. Yes, remember, there's always people who are more needy than you are. Jay's blog, I have pure OCD. Well, there's a book called Brain Lock by Jeffrey Schwartz you need to read immediately. It's been proven to help people with OCD as well as DBT. So I want you to read this book. It's called Brain Lock. I am a wealth of information, all right? You know what Douglas Block, you know what DB stands for? Data bank. That's what my friends tell me. Also, they say I'm the absent-minded New Age professor. I know a lot. Why do I know a lot? I've lived long and I've suffered a lot. That's why. And I love to read books. The new generation only goes on the internet. They don't even know how to spell cat. K-A-T, by the way, is how you spell cat. There's a joke in that somewhere. Oh my God, there's something about, well, do we all know what insomnia is? You can't sleep. Do we all know what dyslexia is? You reverse letters and words, right? And do you know what an agnostic is? An agnostic is someone who isn't sure if God exists. An atheist says, I don't believe in God, but an agnostic says, well, maybe yes. So, agnostic, insomniac, and dyslexic. So what happened, what was the fate of the agnostic and dyslexic insomniac? Well, he lay awake all night asking himself, is there a dog? He lay awake all night asking himself, is there a dog? I hope you get that. Stevie Bell says, I know that suicide would needlessly transfer my pain to my daughters, and that would be evil. I wouldn't use the word evil, that's too harsh a word, but that would be tragic. And you're absolutely right. If you read this right here, When Going Through Hell Don't Stop, and those of you who donated, by the way, if you send me your email address, I will send you a free ebook of this if you email me. I said the reason I didn't want to do that is because I was suffering so much. Look at all the people who would suffer if I did that to myself. I don't want to foist my suffering on them, and that's why it's important that we survivors, and I've had my roommate die by suicide, and my therapist, we go to the Survivors of Suicide Day on November 17th, look it up. Okay, so, another comment. Ban Nanoshi, do you believe in people knowing or not knowing putting a hex or a curse on people? I think that people did that in ancient cultures, but no one can oppress you without your permission. So if someone puts hex on you, you say the light of God surrounds me, the love of God unfolds me, the power of God protects me, the presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. That's the prayer of protection. Anybody emails me, I'll send that to them. I'm a trainee teacher, says Kieran Howard, who's not sure if I can make through my training. Do teachers with mental health conditions succeed? Yeah, well, teaching is really tough. I came to Oregon to be a teacher, and it was really hard teaching with a mental health disorder because it's very, teaching is extremely stressful with the kids, and it demands a lot of you. So yeah, it could be difficult. Try it. Do your best. If not, something else will open up that's you're meant to do. Okay, it's 48 minutes after the hour. In about 10 minutes, I need to get ready for my bike ride. It's wonderful having you guys here on this sunny day in Portland. I'm going to try to go to Kelly Point. Again, exercise for your heart, your body, and your mind. I can't recommend it enough. You were just prescribed Klonopin, says Bake a Beast or Best. If I take 0.25, is it going to put me backwards to recover? No, that's a nothing dose. I took a ½ milligram of Klonopin every day for 9 months. No, so if your doctor prescribed it, that's who you listen to. But I can tell you right now that 1/4 milligram, you might not even feel. It's very low. And if you do feel it, good. But Klonopin, taken judiciously, will not, it will help with the anxiety. I mean, it helped me, so don't be afraid of it. But definitely, if you feel anything weird, call your doctor. And don't mix it with alcohol, and don't try driving a car after you take it. It breaks my heart how many people in Estonia commit suicide because of bullying. Oh my God, really? That's a horrible thing. We didn't have that when I was growing up. My jokes today are great. Well, I thank you. Butterfly feels suicidal. My head is on fire. Well, you're obviously going through a really bad depression. Please get some help. Find a good mental health therapist. Go to treatment. What is your email, Bonanoshi? Right here, DOUGLASBLOCH, DouglasBlock@gmail.com. Call the suicide hotline. Very, very good. In America, we have 1-800-SUICIDE or 1-800-273-TALK in America. So I'm not quite sure where you're living, but you should definitely call that hotline. Very good. Oh, you called last week, Susan Jones. You live in America? This is my first time watching you. I'm so glad I found you. Well, guess what? If you suffer from OCD, have no fear. I have 350 videos. After you turn this off, you can turn on my YouTube channel, and for 3 days, watch them nonstop. That'll really make a difference. No, it won't. Don't do that. You need to get out and about. We need balance in our lives. What did the Greeks say? The Greeks said the middle way, the middle way, the middle way. So yes, I'm glad that you found the channel, and there is a lot of good resources here. Okay, something about a cowboy. Uh-oh. A joke, a cowboy and a Native American are fishing. The Indian catches a mermaid. He throws it back. The cowboy says, why? The Indian says, how? Not quite sure. You could explain that to me. But I do grow up watching Roy Rogers. Anybody in their 50s or 60s here? A great television character. You know, you're not going to believe this, but the cowboy Roy Rogers once came over to my house and had dinner. We had a salad. I said, what do you want for your salad? He said, ranch dressing. Come on, Douglas, stop this. You're just creating a lot of, pain out there. No, I'm not. These are funny jokes. Okay. What do you think of long-term benzo use? Depends on how much, but benzos are meant to be done short-term, but some people need them long-term. I've known people who've been on, Klonopin or Xanax, one of my friends, for 30 years. Usually you develop a tolerance. This person hasn't, but ideally long-term use is not recommended, but some people need it. Talk to your doctor, talk to your doctor, talk to your doctor. But and everybody is different. Some people can handle it, but in general they're meant for the short term. Carrie Irving, glad you're here. I hope it helps. Also meeting people like you helps. Yes, you guys can continue talking to each other when I go off the live chat. You can let's have one more super chat before we go. That would be really nice. My goal was to get to the $20 mark. I think we're about 18. One more $2 donation would really help. If you live in Northern California, come up to Oregon, man. And I have a nice client in Sacramento. Maybe you guys can connect with each other and give each other support. Idea with pure, high log disc idea with pure something. I can't quite read what you say. Susan Jones, thank you. Yeah, Susan Jones is a nice person. Hi, JR90. Took me years to weed off Klonopin, so was so sick getting off, wasn't on high dose either. Well, you see, that's how it is with some people. That's the risk of going on long term. Best to use it short term. You've been on some form of benzo for the last 30 years, Bandanochi? Well, there you have it. I guess, you've needed to be. Rasmus, the training program that I want to participate in is called Experienced Counselor, and in case of suicide, it is for those people who are suicidal at some point or people who lost someone to suicide. Well, that sounds like a really good program for you. Go for it. You think you're going to go through it with today? I hope you're not talking about ending your life, Stevie Bell. There's a guy, you need to look him up on the internet. He's very famous. And he's so famous I can't remember his name, but I will. Someone correct me. Someone tell me. He's very famous. Hines. His last name is Hines. H-I-N-E-S. I don't know. Maybe his first name is Greg. Anyway, he jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, and as soon as he went past the railing, he said, "Everything in my life that I thought was not fixable was in fact fixable." And in fact, he went ahead and he survived. And now he goes around the country telling people that there's reasons to live. It was an amazing, amazing story. And I need to, yes, this too shall pass, please hang on. Honor, well, you didn't miss it. You got 4 minutes left. How do you know when depression feels like going away? When you're basically feeling, well and at peace. Okay, so I'm going to put Hines, Golden Gate Bridge. I need to remember his name. And unless someone can tell me. Kevin Hines, yes. His name is Kevin Hines. There's a video called How I Survived Jumping from the Golden Gate Bridge. Go to people.com and look him up. It's so inspirational. So yeah, Nicholas Rubio, it goes away when you feel at peace and you feel some joy in your life and some pleasure. It would be an honor to help someone with these thoughts. Yes, yes, you're right. Look, I've been suicidal not once, not twice, not three, not four, 5 times. One time I almost went through it. So that's one of my missions in doing this channel. Everybody who I know, and I mean everybody who has talked about it and come to my group has survived. So people do get better. People do get better. You may not go all the way better. You may still have some problems, but you do get better. I say the prayer of protection a lot. You mentioned it's one of your live streams. Thank you. Yes, everybody should look it up. Go to YouTube and put these words in, everybody. This will protect you from anything that's meaning to harm you. Prayer of protection. It's been around. It was created by James Dillon Freeman of Unity, and it's used by millions of people around the world. I'm sorry I missed your email. Did I send you an email? When I was locked in a 2-month depression, I was angry at my closest friends, whether I knew it or not. Now that I've been happy for a month, I feel, how could I have thought that? Well, because your brain was dysregulated. When you're depressed, you think things you wouldn't normally think because your brain is sick. If your lungs are sick, if you have pneumonia, you're not going to breathe properly. If you have a heart attack, you can't run. If you have gastritis in your stomach, you can't eat. So brain disorder means not thinking clearly for depression. Does ECT treatment help? I had it and it helped me. My mother had it, it helped her. A doctor I know had it, it helped him. I've had 11 people do ECT, it's helped all of them. Does that mean it will help you? I don't know. But if you're desperate, it's worth trying. And the memory loss is usually just the time of the ECT. Authentic Mexican food. Is it normally happy being alone all the time? Extreme introvert. Well, if you're an extreme introvert, you do better by yourself. So yes, follow your heart, trust yourself. Hang in there, this too shall pass, please get help. Everybody, Stevie Bell is giving you lots of encouragement. Sending you all my support. No, it's unbearable, please. No, you have somebody have got through the hell. You will too, hopefully. I've recently heard, Scott Barrett, what are you doing here with 2 minutes left? Come on, you're one of my big fans. Depression and BTE is a surface symptom caused by the core disorder. It is. Borderline personality disorder is a complex disorder, but it can be treated using DBT and therapy. I've had several losses these last 3 years, says Richard Urban. In the midst of these, my son died suddenly. Oh my God. Well, you're suffering from reactive depression. You have to basically go to a grief group and process the grief. Your depression, of course it's real. With that type of loss? Butterfly says, thanks. I would be a dream to meet you. Well, I'll pick you up at the Portland airport. No problem. Or, send me a plane ticket to wherever you are. Carrie Joy Wolf, whose name I love, to Authentic Mexican Food. Look up highly sensitive people on YouTube. It sounds like something you might want to check out. Yeah, Richard, losing a child is I think one of the worst kind of hells out there. So hang in there, my friend, hang in there. Well, we have a minute left. Maybe one more super chat, somebody? Even $1? It would be really nice. Jared Knight, Doug, why anxiety go and come back worse even for no reason? Again, the brain is vulnerable. The brain is dysregulated. But you can control not it coming and coming back, but when it comes back, you control how bad it is and how long it lasts. Homer Rivera, just an opinion. Depression and might make anything unbearable, undesirable, painful, although depression can be triggered by certain situations in our lives, it makes all situations difficult. Absolutely. You've been lurking. Yes, Scott Parwell. Come on, come over. Invite me to your house in the UK. Yeah, you're not alone, Stevie Bell. You gotta reach out. Here it is, everybody. You know who survives depression and suicidal episodes? Those who reach out. I don't know how to get an exclamation point. Well, maybe I do. There you are. I'll be there at 4 Top Store, 1960s. Reach out, I'll be there to love and silent guide you. You remember that song, I'll Be There? Why is Super Chat not available in Estonia? It's gotta be. You're on the internet, doesn't matter what country you're in. Can't you see that $? Otherwise, douglasblock@gmail.com. Well, we have 15 seconds left. It's been a delight. You guys in Europe, keep the peace, keep the peace, keep the peace. It's the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. We don't want another war. And, you know, it's a dark time. Look, I won't even comment on the politics in the United States. You know how horrible they are. But love is stronger than hate. Light can overcome darkness. Remember that. Light can overcome darkness. There's a very famous quote about that. But yes, there's always hope. There's always reason for hope. People are resilient, and I do believe overall the universe is a benevolent place. On that note, thank you, Susan Jones. Please ask for help. Reach out. Absolutely. All of you guys can continue to support Stevie Bell. I know things can get better. Believe me. Just go to my website and look at my videos on suicide prevention. Yep. Good luck, everyone. Keep on fighting. Well, that's a good way to end. Scott Bauer, you guys can talk for the next 10 minutes on live chat. If you want to, you know, become a patron, go to patreon.com. In the meantime, I wish you all the best in your mental health recovery. Until next Sunday, the 18th of November, I wish you the best. And yeah, everybody send some prayers. Oh, one other thing, you guys, look. If you want to help Stevie Bell, this is good. This is the most amazing number I'm ever going to give you. Okay, 1-800. Okay, I'm going to give you the okay, it's one. Where's the? Oh yeah, 816. I can't leave this live chat without giving you this number. 816-929. I think it's 2000. No, it's 969-2000. Hold on. My memory is still good, even at 70. Forget the equal signs. You know what I mean. Silent. Unity. 24. There it is, everybody. Silent Unity, 24 hours a day prayer line. You guys call up and pray for Stevie Bell or pray for yourself. Wow, you dosed my dear suicide 5 years ago? Wow, Maggie May, I'm so sorry. Well, if you're in America, go to the Survivors of Suicide Day. In the meantime, write this number down, 816-969-2000. Anytime, day or night, you're in distress, they will pray with you on the phone. They will put your name in the Chapel of Light for 30 days. It is a potent, potent source of healing and spiritual help. So remember that. Write that down, and you know, call that for your friends. Call for Stevie Bell. It's a wonderful resource, and I hope you all have a great week.